Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Memorial Hall here in Kansas City, Kansas, as Strikeforce and Showtime present the Strikeforce Challengers main event of the evening.
Bad news is just something they gave me in my gym. People say, who's up next to spar? And they're like, oh, bad news. So it just kind of stuck. I'm always an underdog. It's not a new thing for me to be the underdog. I kind of feed off of it and I like it. It's okay, no pressure on me. Kansas City's my hometown. I have a lot of fans here in Kansas City. You'll hear them in the crowd yelling, chanting my name. That's just something they like to do. They like to chant, Rudy, Rudy, like the movie, you know. I'm pretty used to it. Tyron, he's already in Strikeforce. He's had a few Strikeforce fights. This being my first Strikeforce fight, I mean, I have to prove to the judges that, hey, I belong here in Strikeforce. My prediction, third round KO.
Well, a 30-year-old married father of four, Rudy Bad News Bears, is an accomplished kickboxer who has ripped off 6 consecutive victories. Tonight he's going to try to avenge teammate Steve Schneider's loss to Woodley in Woodley's professional MMA debut back in February. What are the keys to victory for him?
Keys to victory are definitely stay off the floor. And in order to do that, he's got to use a lot of side-to-side movement, but pepper Woodley the whole time. Just moving around is not going to do it because Woodley's shot is that fast. And if he gets taken to the floor, got to get back up. He's got to take this fight deep. Zach Light was very confident that if he took Woodley past the 7 or 8 minute mark that he would fade because that wrestler first would turn into an anaerobic thing and would get tired. I think that that's what Rudy Bears expects tonight as well, or hopes for.
Fighting out of the Caveman Crew Mixed Martial Arts Academy, a southpaw again. I mentioned Steve Schneider. He went down to defeat against Tyron Woodley earlier this year. So, in a way, Bears is looking to avenge his friend's loss, but also wants to put himself on the map with a win over one of the hottest prospects in the sport. And speaking of one of the hottest prospects in the sport, Tyron Woodley really does have it all.
It meant a lot to me to be an All-American wrestler. The characteristics that I've taken from wrestling into MMA has been definitely work ethic. I don't train like, the conventional mixed martial art fighter. I like to think of myself as the next generation, or like to think of myself as the future of MMA. I mean, I got family rooting for me. My church family rooting for me. I got a son that's looking after me. So when I'm doing things the way I, uphold myself, the way I walk around the community, I'm representing just more of myself. A good friend of mine told me that make the fight your fight the most important thing in your life at that point. And right now, that's what it is. This is the most important fight for me, and I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna fight it. Like I don't even know this guy.
And here he comes, Tyron Woodley. As much as we've talked about his wrestling, he really wants to establish the fact that he feels that his stand-up is better than his wrestling. This may be a risky adventure, but he wants to keep moving, use a straight right and counter, and stay ahead of the curve in the stand-up department. In his first Strikeforce Challengers appearance, Woodley got a chance to display his ever-evolving prowess when he faced Zach Light, a man who looked to be every bit of his equal on the mat. But it was soon apparent that the takedown advantage belonged to Woodley as he took Light to the ground and went for a submission. The fist came next, and the unstoppable wrestling, that slam-bam pattern continued until Woodley mounted Light, who tried to escape, only to roll right into the fight-ending armbar. With his prodigal growth now televised and on public display, Woodley's ascent will surely make more than a few welterweights nervous.
No doubt about it. He is having a breakout year in MMA. Making his debut in February, he's reeled off 4 consecutive wins, all via submission. And this highly decorated wrestler has been spending time soaking up all the knowledge he can at the vaunted American Top Team camp in Coconut Creek, Florida. And Pat, it's hard to believe he was a late cut during tryouts for the 9th season of The Ultimate Fighter, but hey, the UFC's loss is definitely Strikeforce's gauge.
Missed a diamond in the rough for sure.
All right, Pat, let's take our viewers to the tail of the tape for this, the main event.
Rudy Bears, 4 years older, couple inches taller, same weight about at the time of weigh-in, but Woodley walks around at easy 195 pounds. Reach goes to the advantage 1 inch for Bears. Bears is going to want to use that, try and keep Woodley on the outside, but Woodley's explosive. He gets on you quick.
Here now with the main event particulars, Mike Vale.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for our main event of the evening, brought to you by Rockstar Energy Drink. Bigger, better, faster, stronger, party like a rock star. So now, before we get the action started, I have one more thing to say. Kansas City, Kansas, are you ready? Let's get the action started. This welterweight main event is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing first in the blue corner. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall. Official weight 170 pounds. This kickboxing freestyle fighter has a record of 10 wins, 3 losses, with 4 of his wins coming by way of knockout and 4 by submission. Please welcome the talented, well-rounded fighter from Raytown, Missouri, Rudy Bad News Bears. And now his opponent across the cage in the red corner. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. Official weight 171 pounds. With a background in wrestling, this explosive athlete has an undefeated record of 4 wins and no losses, with all of his wins coming by way of submission. Please welcome the 4-time All-American freestyle wrestler from Coconut Creek, Florida, by way of St. Louis, Missouri, Tyron T. Wood Woodley.
Okay, fellas, we know the rules in the locker room. Want to have a good, clean fight, protect yourself at all times, obey my commands at all times, fight clean, fight hard. Any questions, fighters? Lock them up, let's rock and roll.
Whose winning streak is going to come to an end tonight? Rudy Bears has won 6 straight. That man, Tyron Woodley, is 4-0 to begin his professional career. This is the main event Strikeforce Challenger Series from Memorial Hall in Kansas City, Kansas.
Blue corner, you ready?
And Pat, let's see if the 3rd time's the charm. What should we look for in this contest?
Look for Woodley stepping hard with his left foot, throwing the straight right and circling out to his left. Bears is going to try and cut him off. Being a lefty, Bears might give Woodley some problems.
Woodley, a 3-time All-American, undefeated during his senior year of high school, 48-0. 2-time All-American at University of Missouri. But Stephen, he tells us there's a lot of pop in his punches as well.
I think the pop should be in that knee when Woodley dives down for a single or a double. It's a risky move, but if you're going to get taken down anyway, you might as well try and do some damage. And the knee strike to the body or the head of a diving-in wrestler is sometimes a devastating blow.
And there's the takedown from Woodley into cross-side position, looking to mount nice dedicated crowd here in Kansas City is not booing this fight. They're chanting, Rudy, Rudy. Wasn't the loaded in low.
Exactly.
I think that this crowd is split between the
they are. You're right about that. They're chanting Rudy and I think maybe Woodley.
You're getting confused there, huh?
You see Woodley has the arm trapped with the shin. Every time Bears goes to put that right arm on the ground, there's the mount already.
Nice transition in the mount. Bears looking to explode his hips. But against, again, an NCAA wrestling stud. But give credit to Bears. Very active on the bottom, trying to break free.
Trying to escape out that back door.
It's very much so going out the back door. But here
comes a triangle bar.
Perhaps an arm bar. And instead, Woodley just gets back to his feet. But well done by Bears.
Yeah, it's a good job of Woodley to take his time there and just, go ahead, let him get up. Don't make a mistake there.
Knee from the plum. And a couple of other knees. There's a right hand from Woodley. So we definitely are beginning to see more in the way of striking from T-Wood. Misses with that wild right.
Needs to set that up a little bit more, I think. He's getting a little impatient. I think he wants to take Bears out as quickly as possible.
Bears was 7-0 as an amateur. He won regional ISKA kickboxing championships, but he finds himself back on the mat. Woodley going for the arm triangle now.
We know
Needs
that's
to pop
Woodley's.
over to the other side.
Well, he's taking his time, trying to head in there, pressing the arm up against the side of the neck.
Bears again lifting that left knee, blocking the attempt here. But Stephen, if Woodley is able to get to the other side, a great defense here by Bears. He's all on the other side.
He's done. He's got it.
And it's 5-0. 5 consecutive submissions for Tyron Woodley.
Best athlete in the sport.
Wow. Really?
Without a doubt.
I think you can make a good case for that. I don't think we're being too preemptive.
Well, I'll tell you, he definitely likes many great athletes in the sport like Miguel Torres, George St. Pierre, and Nate Marquardt, but quite a statement from Pat Miletich. But I'll tell you something, Woodley, believe the hype, my friends. This kid is real.
Well, really, Pat knows, but I'll tell you one thing. Rudy Bears made this a fight by that first escape. Stood back up, threw a low kick. That was a mistake. Got taken down, and the rest is history.
And he likes that arm triangle choke. Submitted.
Is Woodley working hard, hitting a little grab, and then the trip just blocked the hip with his left leg and got to cross sides right away. Very explosive guy. There's the low kick. Nice reaction by Woodley, instantly snagging the legs and taking him down. It's a lot of power. Right away, we know that Woodley loves the arm triangle. He goes for it a lot.
Yeah,
it's a very, very good move to stay on top and submit people. Does a good job. Bears there got the half guard. Woodley got a little, I think, in a hurry there, tried to step over, almost like mounting a horse. He wants to take his time a little bit more, but then he realizes he's got the left foot inside the thigh there. You can see it prying down on Bear's leg. Straightens his leg to create less friction, tighten up the arm triangle, and it's tight.
And he submitted Sal Woods with the arm triangle in his Strikeforce debut back in September. Strikeforce Lawler versus Shields in St. Louis, but Pat, beautifully done again. Very patient, knows exactly where he was going.
That is a wrestler's submission right there, the arm triangle. You get to keep top position. Don't risk losing position, going for something. You're on top, and you got a guy that strong squeezing on your neck. You're in trouble.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout ends at 2 minutes and 52 seconds of round number 1. Referee Al Wicker stops this bout for your winner by tap out due to an arm triangle, Tyron T. Woodley.
Tyron seems to be a little bit of a split house tonight. Rudy.
Rudy Bears is an amazing guy. We were supposed to fight a couple times before, I think. We knew eventually it was going to happen. We were too close together and same weight. Shout out to his camp, his crew. I know he's a good father and got a wife, and he's an amazing guy. Now I get a chance to train with him.
He pulled off a great escape by going out the back door.
Yeah, I had a triangle set up. In this MMA game, you get slippery and wet. You go for that triangle choke and you don't get it. I end up on my back. I know you got a legitimate ground and pound, and I didn't want to put myself in that situation. So.
Okay, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but a lot of people feel that you're ready to become the next whatever
But what are you thinking in terms of title aspirations here in Strikeforce?
Man, I would love, to keep chopping that ladder down, keep making gains at it. Strikeforce doing a great thing with me. They kept every promise they told me they were going to do. And I'm going to just keep trying to keep getting better. It's down the road. It's close.
The last known Strikeforce welterweight champion is Jake Shields. Your opinion of him?
Jake Shields is a good guy, great submissions, really good from the mount position. I think I match up well with a lot of these guys. I think he's one of them.
Tyron, great job tonight. Congratulations. One more time, ladies and gentlemen, T-Wood, Tyron Woodley.
Tyron T-Wood Woodley delivers another impressive performance in tonight's main event as he runs his professional record to 5-0. And I'm joined right now by Pat Miletich once again. And speaking of 5-0, here's a kid all